I'm taking about the regular classes, right? So this is the first session I'm going to start, that what basically the firewall is and why it is important. So if I talk about the firewall, right? So some of you know that this is a security device. So this is a firewall, this is security device, and you ask the question that how basically you are going to tell about the security device. Who are you, right? So my name is Anuj. I have around 13 years of experience. I started my career with the networking and then moved on to the security field. So that includes the network security. And then also I'm just doing on the cybersecurity perspective as well. That includes normal vulnerability management, threat hunting, ethical hacking, and secure code analysis. A lot of things we have in that field. So obviously, like I'm not doing everything there, but in some fields, I used to work on the regularly because I'm working in one of the organization as well. So that's experience I'm going to share with you. So not only the firewall and network security I'm going to talk about, you will also get some exposure that what are the other things I'm doing the cyber security. So it's going to be like a good exposure in the learning of the security field. So I do not only focus on the network security that we call it as a firewall, but obviously because our topic, like we are totally going to focus on the FortiGate firewall. So our focus will be completely on the FortiGate. But yeah, you will also get an exposure to the different things that how basically you can make your network secure. So if I talk about the firewalls, so it is part of network security. People call it as a network security. And inside that network security, they talk about the firewalls that, okay, we have the different firewalls inside that one. So whenever you talk about or basically start working on the network security, you must be very much aware of about the network. So it is very essential that you must have basic understanding of the networking. I guess if I'll just like change the color here. Basic networking is must. So whenever I say that the basic networking, it includes that what is the TCP/IP model, what is the OSI model, what is the subnetting, what are the switching, what are the static routes and all. I don't want you that you should be very much deep in like any of the routing protocols, that how they work, what are their states. You should be able to troubleshoot those. Not, I'm not interested, and that's not much required here. But yeah, it's like very important that you go thorough on the TCP/IP model because everything in security is like doing tricks on the TCP/IP model, like the header basically you have like completely. So we'll be playing on the flags, and that's where basically any hacker try to do that one. They play with that, they change some values, and accordingly they target any of the device. So if you don't know that, it's going to be tough for you. So even if you don't know right now, not a problem. You can like learn those things like slowly because I'm sure that you have some basic understanding. But if you need some brush up, you can do that one parallelly because that's not like the rocket science, and you can't do that. Okay. So if you see in the networking, you have a router. That's very essential part of the networking. We also have a switch. How the connectivity is there on the switch? Like basically, you will say there are multiple computers connected. You will say the host one, another computer there. You could say an host 2. Let's say I can add one more host as an host 3. That will also connect it to the switch, right? There could be n number of machines connected there. What if I want to communicate from any of this host 1 to host 2? Can I do it? Can anyone say yes or no? Is
Yes,
it
yes,
like
we can do.
we can do? Okay.
So VLAN concept, IVR or SVI.
SVI. So, like you said that the VLAN is important.
Yes, very
So,
important.
I say that this is in the VLAN 10 and this is VLAN 20. Will they communicate?
Yes, they can communicate, but that is inter-VLAN concept.
Okay, we
Different.
have to.
Yeah.
So we have to like configure and SVI and all. But normally, if they normal, this is a normal switch. We do not have anything else. And this is on VLAN 10. This is on VLAN 20. They cannot communicate.
Without protocol, no.
Yeah, right. So by default, they cannot communicate with each other. But if we have any other device in the VLAN 10, they can communicate with this one. Like host 1 could communicate to the host 2 because they are in the same VLAN. So here, everything is on the VLAN. That VLAN controls the traffic that which host can communicate to which of the host. That's you can say that broadcast domain and all like the different part, but
Hello.
in some
Hi, Anu.
yeah,
Hello.
any question?
Yeah, actually, Pratim speaking.
Yeah, I think
Actually, I just want to share that VLAN basically works over the unique broadcast domain, right? From
correct.
one
Yeah.
host to another host, VLAN
Mhm.
just communicating, and the packet is transferring through the VLAN, right?
Correct. Yeah.
To the frame.
Yeah. Frame basically. Yeah. Is in the switch basically everything we talk about the frame, not the packets and all.
Now packet is coming from the router, and switch is the passing the frame, right?
I haven't included any of the router in this as of now. If you see the topology, I have this simple switch, and from this switch, we have connected the multiple computers. That's it. There's no router and all in this environment, the right hand side one. So if in that scenario, if there's a no router and all, you have just only one switch. And like, for example, this is your home setup, right? So you have just one, for example, you do not have in your home router, you do not have the internet connectivity, and you just have your switch and you have multiple PCs connected either over Wi-Fi or it is could be a LAN cable. So what is going to happen that whatever the PCs you are connected to, they will be pinging to each other or they can communicate to each other if they are in the same VLAN. But if you by default have changed, because by default they're in the native VLAN, VLAN 1, right? In the Cisco router, you can say. So they can communicate, but in case you have changed that VLAN, that okay, one of the host in the VLAN, some VLAN 10 or 20 or whatever it is, and another on some different VLAN, then they cannot communicate. Okay. Is that
Uh,
fine?
yeah, different, sir. I am Mark here.
Right.
The different VLAN, what is the provision you can do the communicate?
We
Trunking.
have like a router and
No,
HVI.
without
So
SVI.
router you cannot do anything.
without router, you can't.
Okay.
Either we need to use that multi-layer switch 3, multi-layer
Yeah,
switch.
L3 switch you can
L3
use.
switch. Okay.
Yeah. So ultimately, the conclusion is that you have like dividing your network based on the VLAN. If they are in separate VLAN, they cannot communicate. So this is also a type of security that you are introducing in the switch. So if you want that your machine cannot communicate with another machine, what you do for the segregation, you will put that machine in the different VLAN, and by default they cannot communicate. So this is also a security feature, correct? So I will see that's a security. Security is like whenever you want to control any traffic, you're controlling it. That's security, right? Now, same thing if we come back to the router, right? So what happens in the router? If you have like normally whenever we have a router, we put some switches, and from that switch we connect to the computers. That's what we usually do. This is standard topology. But in case you want to directly connect a computer to the router, it's possible. You can do that one. There is no restriction that you can't do that. But usually we do not use it because the ports of the router are like very, critical, or we have less number of ports on the router. So we
Very
add
limited
switch,
code.
limited ports. So we add switch and then we extend the number of ports. So for example, any machine here on the left hand side, and if he wants to communicate to this PC, for example, this is your host 1, this is your host 2, this is your host 3, and this is host 4. So here now, if any router, basically like any host 1 wants to communicate to host 3, what you need, basically how they can communicate, you need an routes on the router. Do you have routing entry on this one? It can
Yeah.
communicate here and there.
Oh,
Same thing if you have like our want to check or send it to the host 4, you need a route and you can communicate to each other, right? So here what is like security thing that we are having, we have the routing. So if there is a routing in place, you can communicate. If there is a no routing, this is not going to communicate. So we have little bit security here, but obviously we do not like it. Why? Because if you have like advertise or like put a complete routing network of the network, each of them will be communicating further control you do not have. Okay. So that's why we have like limited scope of the controlling of the traffic in the switches, routers, or if you go old technologies like hub and all. So we have like limited features available there. We want to implement more security. That how basically we can do. Then the vendors came up with the solution of the that's known as basically in the routers that ACL, that was known as the
Access control.
access control list.
Yes, sir.
So if some of you have configured that access control list, you might see that we have rules like this permit,
Deny.
Permit and deny.
source, yeah, permit, source, that destination, then its port number, right? Like that one, we can create a rule. Then we can create like deny certain source, certain destination to that source port destination. So that's control we have. So it's like we are specifically telling the router that, okay, if you are putting a permission for the 10.1.1 to go to 100.1.1.1, then only it can permit. Like the communication is allowed. Routing is in place, but only after the permit we go it. And if we deny it that, okay, 10.1.1.2 cannot communicate to 100.1.1.1, it's not going to communicate because you have given the rule that deny 10.1.1.2 to destination on that one, and you can take any port like port 80. So that's what basically the enhanced security we implemented on the routers. That was around like quite years back. I think 10 or 20 might be. Okay. So we keep on using these access control list, and we were quite happy that we have routing in place, we have security in place, and most of the things are done. But the more traffic was increasing day by day, the thing happened that the devices getting like utilizing the high CPU and memory uses. Why? Because this is a simple router, maybe low end or high end, whatever it is, but that is doing its core job. Core job is its routing. It's doing its routing. It's also taking care of this security thing like controlling the traffic. Controlling traffic means like now it is investigating each and every packet it is going to the router. It takes care that, okay, because any packet comes, it will check its access control list whether it is allowed or not. If it is allowed, then only I'm going to pass it through the router, else I have to drop. So now the load on the router was quite high. And okay, so somebody has asked that why specifically FortiGate. So I will just come back that why we are only learning FortiGate. Okay. So now if I talk about that, how many things that router can do, they are like, it also does the NAT, right? NAT is also possible on the router. But the more jobs you let your router perform, obviously it's like, could be, you think of like human brain. If you are working on a laptop, same time you are listening music, same time if you're watching TV, there's a lot of interaction, distractions. You might not focus on your core job. So it's very important, like the vendors thought that let the router do their router, no, their core job, and we put a different device as a firewall and let that do its important thing. That's basically the security one. So now we have like came with the concept of the firewall, that okay, we put in a dedicated device name as a firewall, and that will be responsible for the all security things. Obviously, whenever we develop the firewall, we haven't left the core concept. For example, switching, routing, NAT, right? We all that firewall also does these things. It will do these things. Along with that, it will do the security part. So you can say that now you get everything all in one box. But we will not let your firewall do everything, because if we let your firewall do everything, obviously we will fall in the same situation what it was doing before, the router scenario, like, or the other devices. So we'll let your firewall to focus on the security, but obviously sometimes we need to use these features. So this also supports the switching, routing, and NAT features. That's also available on your firewall, and you can utilize them as per the requirement. But do not completely focus, because if you, because of that, because if you go in the market and buy a router that are like quite low cost, but if you go and buy a firewall, it's quite costly, because it has a lot of features available. It have a lot of resources. Because of that, the cost is going quite high. Okay, so that's why basically we need a firewall. Now we are in a situation that we understand that why basically we need the firewall, how it has come, and why we need it. Coming back to that, we have multiple manufacturer of the firewall. We do not have only FortiGate firewall, right? So we are fine that, okay, we need the firewall to secure our network, right? So we put our firewall outside of our network. For example, this is your organization. This is your, all of the computers might be connected here from the switch, right? You could have a router here. You could have one more router here, one more switch, and number of computers connected to here, right? So this could be like huge topology inside your network, inside your organization. And now, whenever you are communicating outside, basically could be your different office or to the internet, you need to secure your network, because internet is like full of good and bad guys. You don't know that what's going to they do once they get into your network. So what do, you implement a firewall at the perimeter that I will inspect every traffic which is going in or out. So if it is like coming in, obviously you are a third person. I will be very careful to see that who you are and basically what traffic, like what is your intention to come inside. And if I like going out, I will just check that whether you are going to the right website, what the data you are sharing or not doing a data breach, or you are sharing any confidential information. So that checks I will can also do with the firewalls. So obviously, there's some other tools are also available to do these things like data and check data breach and all. But yeah, being at the perimeter, I can check better because, for example, if I have something here, I may not be very efficient to monitor that. For example, you see that in every building or any parameters at the security gate, there is a security guard. He keeps on watching that who is going in and out, and he's very essential. Everywhere we put the boundary, nobody can go in and out. And at the gate, I deploy a security guard. The same thing is going to happen. That's our firewall, and that watches each and every packet in and out and inspect that basically that what's going in and out. Now we have like multiple vendors for the firewalls, and everyone's like you know doing it like manufacturing. They want to secure a network, but obviously we want to learn that why basically we only need the FortiGate. And obviously, like being a common man, I will ask this question that why FortiGate only? Why I can't go for the Cisco ASA? Why I can't go for the Palo Alto? Why I can't go for like Versa firewall or Azure firewall or AWS firewall? Which firewall I need it and what's their benefit? So obviously, like whenever we deploy the firewall, we always just look onto the pros and cons of any of the firewall. So if I go to website, for example, I go to the this google.com, where it's gone. Okay, anyways, I will take a new page. So what I say that, okay, leading firewall, okay, I'll simply search as a leading firewalls, leading firewall vendors. Being a new guy, I will just always do that, right? So which of the things you will check it here? Security HQ is sponsored. No, that's not a good idea. Sponsored is not like they will recommend only their pages. This is also sponsored. The Palo Alto is like sponsoring their firewalls. No, I will not. This could not be an honest. Gartner. Gartner is like many of the trusted platform. Okay. And that's not sponsored. And you see that a lot of people have already tried that one. Okay. So if I check this, okay. So you can see that continuous, like which of the firewalls are like uh, product listing and based on the high to low. Okay, so number of ratings people have given. So we have given like FortiGate, Nexus firewall. How many we have? 4.6. Checkpoint we have 4.5. Palo Alto we have around 4.6. So this is also 4.6. This is also 4.6. Okay, but number of ratings are less here. 1,124 here, like more number of reviews people have given. We have Cisco Secure Firewall. So earlier it was coming as like Cisco ASA, but now like they have come up with the FTDs and they call it a Cisco Secure Firewall. They have like added the application layer features. We have Sophos Firewall. You see that this is like 4.7, but it's not quite good, right? Number of ratings, Cisco Meraki 482 ratings. So in order to check that, what we usually do, we take the firewalls Gardner Magic Quadrant. So you can pick up any of them like 24 or 23. So let's take 23 and we just see the images. So this is of the Magic Quadrant. And if I check any of them, for example, this one. Oh no, this is for the Palo Alto, right? But anyways, this is not, this is better. I will pick up this one. Okay, it's not clear. So anyways, like if you, I will tell you that a lot of things like this is three vendors, in majority they are like popular right now. I don't see any correct image. So let me tell you that right now in the leader section, we have, like, I will not say the number one, number two, or number three, but I will say that they are like almost equivalent. One of them is like Palo Alto. Then we have the FortiGate, and that you can say from check it from the Gartner website, not from the like I'm saying or somebody else is saying. Right? We should trust any platform, public platform that does the research based on the user feedback, its performance, ease of convenience. Based on that, they give the rating that okay, this is the firewall is good one. We have this checkpoint, Sophos and all. Like we also like earlier Cisco was not in the competition, but now I'm seeing that Cisco FTD is also like coming picture. That's giving a good challenge. We have Sophos. We have the Versa network. So there's a lot of firewalls we are having, Azure firewall. But these top three, they are like, or basically I will say the take top four, they are still a lot of market leaders they are. And if we are also like these two, Palo Alto and FortiGate, they are like just like massive. Everything, a lot of people are like whoever was having like Cisco ASA, these are migrating to these two. Checkpoint was like earlier it was like number one before like 4 or 5 years. So they are surviving in the market, but because of the ease of convenience of the GUI, because the some issues on the GUI, like it is Java based platform, so configuration becomes a little bit complex. And their architecture, because they have like most of the things controlled via manager. We have like gateways and connected via the manager. So you might not be aware, but this become makes it a little bit complex for the users to configure it and manage it. But it's still this because it was like leading or very good before a few years, so still people are good on that. Okay, so that's why basically we focus on these firewalls. And if you go in the like market or look for the jobs, they say that if you know any two firewalls, they are okay. Like if you see the openings in the job market or any of the job portals, if you know any of the two firewalls, they are okay. That they understand that if you can to work on the two firewalls, you can work in any of them others. Yeah, obviously it's not going to be very easy, but yeah, some with effort, some hard work, you can do that one. Is my screen visible or it's gone? Oh, it's there. Sorry.
Visible.
Any questions still? Any questions till now?
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Actually, is there anything only one firewall that you know, or means we already know the only one firewall? Yeah, any of the following.
If you know any two of the firewalls, they are okay. Like
Because
job.
company demands like basically three firewall, like Palo Alto, FortiGate, or Checkpoint. These are
No,
next generation
it's
firewall.
There are,
yeah, these are like
I,
I think almost each the Cisco FTD is also you can say that's next gen firewall. They are giving these features.
I think there only command changes only. At rest, everything is same. The
Yeah,
main perspective and the reason why we are putting firewall, the concept is same, but different vendor and different command. That's it. I think,
correct.
as per my opinion.
Yeah, most of things, yeah, syntax is different and some of the ways of working is different for the firewalls. So that's the thing here. But yeah, it's just like also depends on the requirement of the leader. For example, any organization has deployed a lot of the Palo Alto. So they can ask that any two firewalls. It's their choice, right? But it's not that they will take you that any two firewalls, so force and the versa, and they will take you for the Palo Alto because they know that they have deployed the Palo Alto. So it's like their choice. They will simply say that no, I only need the guys who knows the Palo Alto. If you don't know the Palo Alto, I will not take you because in my organization I have deployed completely Palo Alto. I will not take any other guys. But some organizations like recruiters are okay. They are not getting the employees like people or the guys to get hired. In that case, they do that. Okay, any two firewalls are okay. I will like give you training or something, and then I will train you to work on the Palo Alto or like whatever the firewalls they are working. But it's not mandatory that they have to like give you. It's their choice. For example, I have like it deployed completely FortiGate. So I will just prefer the guy who has already worked on the FortiGate or who has the knowledge on the FortiGate. I will not take like, okay, Palo Alto and Checkpoint, and I will take you for the FortiGate. Because I am getting a guy who knows the FortiGate, who has worked like 3 years of experience on the FortiGate. So obviously, I prefer that guy because I know that he has very good knowledge. He already worked on that one. So that's the thing for the hiring perspective I'm talking about. Any other question we have?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
In case we are using the FortiGate,
Mhm.
you need to replace the Palo Alto. That the backup will be can be same backup can upload there or freshly configure the new firewall.
No, totally new for Palo Alto is like different vendor, right? And
Different one,
FortiGate
yeah,
is
right.
different. So you have to
Okay.
change the configuration, like
Complete.
everything.
Yeah.
We are getting the converters available in their website.
Okay.
So you can like take a backup, go to their website, convert that one, and then you put the configuration back. It's still like you have to review each and every firewall rule and the configuration because if you do that, you might be seeing multiple errors while putting your backup there because it's like
Okay.
totally, you know, because the ways of working of Palo Alto and FortiGate or any other firewall, like they're totally different.
Okay.
GUI and all, that's fine, but the base they have been developed or the OS they have been developed, right? They are completely different. So
Okay.
one firewall cannot understand the configuration of the other firewall. Not possible.
Okay. Okay.
We have to make compatible and then only we go with that. Any other question we have? No? Okay. So how many of you like have already like exposure to the FortiGate firewall? I will not say that you have both, but just have seen the GUI of it. You can type on the chat as well. Okay, I do have a bit. I know basic configuration of LAN, WAN routing. Okay. Okay, so I consider that people are at least have gone through the GUI. Okay. So whenever you are going for the classes, right? Because we are learning the FortiGate firewall. If I say you that you go to the your production environment or wherever you have deployed your firewalls and you configure whatever you want, you can't do that. You can't do the you can't play with your production environment. So you need to set up the lab. So how will we using the lab? So we had like using an EVNG platform to set up the lab. Okay. So what we are going to do? That's EVNG is basically an OS operating system. Okay. So because if you run any OS, you need a dedicated hardware to run that. And you have already installed Windows on your PC. Whether you remove your Windows from your PC and you install an EVNG directly, it's going to work. But that's not feasible, right? You cannot do an Excel, or you can't browse internet with this EVNG OS. So you have to survive with the Windows, and even you have to install the EVNG. So what we need any hypervisor which can support, which can run basically over the Windows and then run another OS. So what we are going to do over the Windows, we have like where Windows machine. In Windows machine, I'm going to run a hypervisor. That's basically I use as a VMware. You can use the virtual box or any other ESXi environment of the VMware, anything you can do. Okay. And once you do that, it gives you privilege to run multiple virtual machines over there. Okay. So once you've installed the VMware, you can run the Linux on your machine. You can run EVNG, right? You can run Unix or any Windows Server OS, anything you can do. And that also you can do parallelly, or in fact, you do the Kali Linux. Kali is used for the hacking. Okay. So with the same VM, you can deploy like multiple VMs. So let me show you that how basically I do that. If I open my VMware here, okay, you can see that inside here, I have the multiple OS I have included here. So this is the ENG VMware workstation that I installed on my machine. And once I install it, I have privileges to go for the multiple servers, right? So it has the CH, it has this pbox. That's okay. And don't go that it is red. It will come up again, okay? I have Kali Linux. I have CH Parrot. So CH Parrot is basically provided from the EC Council. So they provide their own OS for the hacking that whenever you want to do it. We have an EVNG platform here. Okay. So I can, you have to like one OS available inside the VM. So you have, if you want to use that one, you have to start it from here. Okay, like that. So same way, like I can, if I want to use any another of them, I have to like shut this down. I will make it as the power off here and start the other one. I can start like multiple together, not a problem. But the more OS you start at the same time, the more resources it's going to use of your PC. So usually like laptops are having like 16 GB RAM or i3 or i5 processor, i7 processor. So if you with that, it's very good idea to run only one or two, not like 100 or like not 100. In fact, like even 10, you cannot do that one. Okay. So now I have installed the, like basically I'm starting my EVNG. Okay. Once I start it here, it will give you an IP address like this. For example, you're clear with it. So I will delete it. You see there is an IP address here. 192.168.30.100. And it's also saying you the default root and password is EV. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to log in this IP address using GUI. Once you start it. So what I have done, I have pick up the VMware. Inside the VMware, I went to the EVNG. I started. Only I started. I haven't logged in this one here. You see that it's still asking me to log in. So if you want to play with it CLI, I can log in it and change some of the things if I want, but I don't want to do that right now. I am more interested in the GUI. So I'll pick up this IP address, this one, and log in on the GUI. So I go to GUI here. And I will log into 30.100. So that's how basically like your login page looks like. Okay. And it was saying you remember the name, username, password. It was saying that the default root password is EV and the GUI username is admin. Okay. So for that, I have to use the username as an admin and the password as EV. Password is same. Either you are using CLI or the GUI. Only the difference is the username. So for the GUI, the username is admin, and for the CLI, username is root, ROOT. Password is same. Okay. And I will just sign in. As I sign in, you can see the page like this. So these are the labs I have already created. But in case like you are a new guy or you have installed it the first time, you will see like this new page. So if I enter like test lab, you will see like this blank page. It's nothing there. Okay. And now you can add the node inside that. So I will just like close this and pick up the FortiGate first lab. Or let's create the old one, right? Or let me just delete this and then create one by one. What do you suggest? Create a new one or I should use this one? You already know that how to do that one. What's your point of view? Anyone interested, like wants to give some suggestions? What should we do? Create new one, please. Okay. So let me close this. And I will pick the test lab what I have just done. All right. So now in this lab, first of all, like I'm very interested in the FortiGate, right? So I will add the FortiGate. So you see that there's for Scout, Counteract is available, Logzilla, something is available because I have searched with the four name, but you might be like curious that why FortiGate is coming as like dark blue and other one is like in the gray color. Okay. So whatever the devices are showing in the blue color, dark blue, that's the only I can use in this one because I have provided the image of that hardware or the firewall or whatever device it is. I have uploaded the image of that inside the EVNG platform. So I have uploaded the image of the FortiGate. So that's why it is available here. For other ones, I have not uploaded any image on the EVNG. This is my personal. I'm not talking about that you once you download and that EVNG someone has not done that one. It's like us who has not uploaded in my machine. Okay. So if I go here, you see that I cannot add them. So this is available here. I can click it. Once I add, it gives me the option that what name you want to give it. So I can give it like FortiGate Firewall. Icon it is like firewall, but I'm more interested to show it like an FortiGate one, right? So that the symbol comes something like that. Number of CPUs is it going to use one? It's going to use 1024 MB RAM. I'm fine with that. Number of ports, it's going to use 4 right now. I can increase it. It's editable, but don't increase them necessarily. For example, CPU and RAM, if you increase like more than 2 CPUs, it will give you an error that it sees that the trial version cannot go beyond that one. So that's more than sufficient to do your lab. Go with that, okay? Port, also like you can increase if you want, like 5 or 6. Don't go beyond that one. For example, 10 or 20, because you don't need that one. It just unnecessarily enhance this load on your PC. Okay, so go with the default, and most of the jobs are done with the 4. And I'm done. I'll click save. Nothing else to change, right? Yeah, just keep them default. Don't change unnecessary thing. And it's coming with the node 1. But I gave the name as a FortiGate Firewall. I will just check it that why it is not. So here I gave the name as a FortiGate Firewall. And it is not taking that one because the space is not allowed here. Okay, so you can put the underscore here and then it will take it. Okay, so now I have ready with my FortiGate Firewall. So I start it, but I should make some connections with it, right? So first I will also add a VPC. So I have like Windows PC also available, but I will just add a VPC. That's simpler. I will add a VPC, something like that one. And the symbol is like desktop, and I will make this a VPC computer so that I can understand. VPC is like lightweight of your Windows type of things, you can say. Okay, so I will explain it more in the upcoming labs. That was the purpose. Okay, so now we have a FortiGate firewall. We have a VPC computer here. Now I want to connect them. So how can I do? I can just, you see that whenever I go with my mouse over here, it's keeping this plug symbol connected, right? Connect to another node. I click on it and drag to another device. Once I do it, it gives an option that on which number of, like on which port you want to connect it. So on this computer, I have only one port in the drop down. That's fine. But on the firewall, we selected the 4 ports wherever there. So on which port you want to connect it. So for example, I want to connect it on the port 2. By default, it was coming as on sequence port 1, but I'm more interested to connect on the port 2. I click OK. And you see that my topology is connected. Okay. For example, I want to add one more something, like for example, switch. Right. So I have 3725 switch with me. That's basically an L3 switch. Okay. So I give the name as a switch here. And image also, I will pick up like an switch so that you can, feel good. I will also feel good. And we both will feel good. So where is that image? MNO. Yes, S. We'll start with S. Yeah, here it is. So I will take a switch L2. So those like an L3 switch, but I'm just taking a L2 image. So that doesn't make any difference. The functionality will be same. Okay. And save it here. So I can connect this switch to this firewall and on the port 3 this time. And I take one VPC once again. This is I will take as a VPC2 computer. And save it. And I can connect this here on the FA0/1. Save it. You see that how basically you can keep on creating the topology. Okay. If you want to give an IP address or labeling, you can give something like that one. For example, I give an IP address 10.1.1 to this PC. I can write like this so that, like, for example, you log in tomorrow, you have and keep in mind that, okay, you have this IP address, right? If you want to give some IP address .10 here on the interface of the firewall, you can give like this, that, okay, this is the IP address here. That's why basically you can put IP address to the other ones. Is it good? You know how to create topology in the EVNG? Yes, no? Yes, okay. So now let me start this FortiGate firewall. And if I click it here, you can see that what other things are happening once I started. Okay. Then it's asking me to log in the firewall. So the by default, the credentials are like username is admin. Okay. And there's a no password of that one. So once it's asking the password, don't type anything, don't enter anything, just hit enter. It will ask you to change the password. I will just change it. Admin123, admin123. Okay, so that's how basically my firewall is now ready. I can see the different like things here. So system interface. Okay, system spelling is wrong. Okay, so now if I want to see the source system interface all, entry is not found retrieval. Okay. So source system interface shows the all the interfaces. So you see that we have the port 1 available. And what are the configurations? So port 1 is configured as a DHCP mode. Access are allowed as a ping, HTTPS, SSH, HTTP, SGFM. Port 2 is normal. Port 3 is there. Port 4, we have this NAF, L2, SSL, right? A lot of things. If you want to check a specific port, so system interface port 1, it will talk about the only for the port 1. Why not staying? Okay, like this. Okay, I was typing wrong. So that's how basically you can see all the configuration, right? So a lot of things you can check it here. So system, for example, tab, you can like check other thing, what are the options available, right? Tab works the same way like we do for the Cisco. So for example, I want to check the storage. Right, so it will just tell you that information. Whatever you want, you can just put the tab and you can use that one. So I think I have covered like a lot of things. I will not be configuring the GUI of this one. I will not show because last session I have shown you already, and I will continue further in the upcoming sessions. Any questions till now? No? Okay. So some of you like have already enrolled for these classes. Okay. And some of you were like quite lucky as well. They got the 10% discount who enrolled on the demo session during the demo session. And who has not done, like some of you have like also done with the actual price of 5997, but obviously like it's like offer, you avail it offer, you get it. If not, obviously like we are okay. So normal fee of that one, this course is the 5997. This is going to be completed in around 10 weeks. Okay, that's like around 2 months, I say it. Okay, so you can enroll from the link. I think you already have most of you. If not, I will just share it once again. You have everybody, right? Everyone has it or no? I will just put once again on the chat. You can do it right away. Okay. And you will also get the recordings of that one, like you have might have gone through the portal. So we have this portal learn.apmsecurity.com. Okay, so here you will be getting the link of your upcoming classes. You will get the recordings. You will also get the certificate that once you complete the course. Okay, and whatever the resources I'm going to upload, like anything, if I want to share any document and all, that also be uploading on this platform. You will see it here, everything. Okay. Any questions on this one or content we are going to cover? I think I have already done it, like some of you might have gone through the case classes, but I will show you once again. Right, so that's how basically like your page look like. And here I will also mention that timings, these are going to be Saturday and Sunday this time. And these are the things like I will going to cover in this entire content. For any query, you can contact on this number. And obviously, like most of you have already my number. It's good. Anyone to do enrollment right now? No, people are silent when it's about the money. It's hard to be, right? I have to check that my mic is not well or something.
It's audible, sir.
Audio also.
I already enrolled already.
Yep. Good. All right. So in the last session, basically I did this lab. So I will continue further. I don't want to go like deep here because if I start it, it will be stretch a lot. So I don't want to stretch. This is the first day. So we'll suggest you to brush up some networking basics if you don't know. Okay. So you can do the networking basics on my website. I have one more website, this freshdeveloper.online. That's also mine. Okay. Basically, I started my journey with this one with the name Fresh Developer. Then I moved to this name IPM Security. So if you want to learn this CCNA stuff, you can go to this page. Okay, CCNA, it's like self-learning, networking, and inside the CCNA. So here there's a lot of networking sessions are available. You can, these are basically like free or available on the YouTube, but these are like listed here in the proper manner. So you can like use it and go there. I don't go for this Google Meet link, and that's what I'm not doing right now. Okay, so ignore these sessions and all whatever is written there. I will change it maybe later on. Okay, so you can brush up these things and also try to set up the lab on the EVNG. Like if you get the free time, I have like one video on my channel that how to set up the EVNG that I will also upload on this portal directly. Okay, you don't have to go there. Once you log into this page, you will see that video there that how to set up the EVNG lab. And images I will be providing you. You will also like getting the images of that one, whatever the labs we are going to do. Okay. Any other question you have? Else like we will close the session.
Sir.
Yep.
Yeah, that setting up the lab, how that I can still not yet set up my lab system.
You have not completed your lab. Okay.
Yeah,
So like you tried with that video or not yet?
yeah, tried, but
Mhm.
that some error coming. I don't know that why.
I think you are also involved in that Palo Alto also, right? You enrolled for the Palo Alto.
Yeah, existing video as per the video I going on the same